This video we're going to cover plane intersection. So we want to go to the plane intersection soft key. And what we use this for is, in the example in this video, we're going to find the front left corner of a part. Now I could do that by probing the X edge and then the Y edge and setting those values in part setup, and that would work in almost all cases. Number one, that's 2 probing cycles that I have to go through, which isn't that difficult. But number 2, what if that part's not square? If the part isn't square, or that front left corner is not a 90-degree angle, then depending on where I probe along the X or along the Y, I'm going to get different values. So what I want is a probing cycle that will truly find the point in which those 2 planes intersect. And that's what we're going to use this for. So we have a part chucked up in the vise, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to position the part probe stylus to a location about 45 degrees off of the front left corner, or the corner that I want to probe, and I'm going to come off of there maybe 1/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to drop down my Z so it will make contact to a level where it'll make contact along both edges. Now, the point that I pick in X and Y, I just want to make sure that I have clearance and freedom to travel along both the X and the Y direction of the part without running into anything. So that will help me determine how far off of the part I need to be. But 1/4 inch is pretty standard, and that's what I use most of the time. Now we have to set 4 points, 2 along each one of those edges where the probe is going to make contact. The first one it asks for is the X probe direction, positive or negative, and then we have 2 values. That is along the X side of the part. So the left side of the part. So first of all, if I'm traveling down that side, I have to move the probe stylus in the positive direction to make contact. If I went negative, I would be going to my left until I just ran out of travel. So we're going to be moving positive. Then it wants 2 offset positions. Those points are from my original starting point, and they're incremental distances along that x-axis. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to go along the y-axis, distance along the y-axis of 1 inch and 5 inches. So what's going to happen is the tooltip is going to move from where I have positioned it. It's then going to move in the y-axis positive 1 inch. Then it's going to come over an X and touch the part. Then it's going to travel again along the y-axis to a 5-inch location. It's going to come over, probe the edge of the part. It's then going to return to that corner where I started. The next 2 offset 3 and 4 values will be for the y-axis, or the front side of the part. Now, if I'm running along the front side, I have to probe in the negative direction. No, I want to probe in the positive direction. If I were to probe in the negative direction, it would continue to travel towards me until I ran out of travel. So I want to probe in the positive direction as well, along that front edge. And again, I'm going to move 1 inch positive along the x-axis, and then I'm going to move to 5 inches from that. And these are both incremental distances from my original starting point. Once it touches all 4 of these points along the X and then along the Y, it's going to return to that corner where I originally started. And it's then going to set that location as my 0 point. Or, if that's not my 0 point, what is the absolute position of that point? And that's what we're going to put in, or the absolute position of that intersecting point. That's what we'll put in this preset. In our example, it is our XY0. I leave those at 0, and that's what's going to get set. It's going to find that point where those 2 planes intersect and say that's my 0 point. Next, I would select the Start Probing Cycle, followed by the flashing Start Cycle button.